Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 18, Text 6, 7. Tam nihasrantam salilad anudrato. Tam salilad anudrato. Hiranyakesho dviradam yathajasa. Keshu. Karaladamstro asani nishvano braved. Gatahriyam kim tabastam vigrahitam. Tam nihassarantam salilad anudrato. Hiranyakesho dviradam yathajasa. Karaladamstro asani nishvano braved. Gatahriyam kim tavasatam vigarhitam. Tam nihassarantam salilad anudrato. Hiranyakesho dviradam yathajasa. Karaladamstro asani nishvano braved. Gatahriyam kim tas asatam vigarhitam. Tam, him. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Any? Tam salilad anudrato. Hiranyakesho dviradam yathajasa. Karaladamstro asani nishvano braved. Gatahriyam kim tavasatam vigarhitam. Mataji? Tam, him. Niha sarantam, coming out. Salilat, from the water. Anudhrita, chaste. Hiranyakesha, having golden hair. Imagine Hiranyakash was, he had blonde hair. He was blonde like, okay. Dviradam, an elephant. Yatha, as. Jasa, a crocodile. Karala damstra, having fearful teeth. Asani nishvana, roaring like thunder. Abravit, he said. Gata hriyam, for those who are shameless. Kim, what? Tu, indeed. Asatam, for the riches. Vigarhitam, reproachable. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away from before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." Purport. When the Lord was coming out of the water, taking the earth in his arms to deliver it, the demon derided him with insulting words. But the Lord did not care because he was very conscious of his duty. For a dutiful man, there is nothing to fear. Similarly, those who are powerful have no fear of derision or unkind words from an enemy. The Lord had nothing to fear from anyone, yet he was merciful to his enemy by neglecting him. Although apparently he fled from the challenge, it was just to protect the earth from calamity that he tolerated Hirnaksha's deriding words. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamarupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami. Vansha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacham bhangam girinjat kirpadavam bande Shri Guru Deenatarinam. Hare Krishna. Okay, so before I start, I seek blessings from all the senior Vaishnavas, so I can speak something. Ram Rai Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. And all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vaishnavi. Okay, so Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 4, he speaks, Dambo darpo abhimanascha, krodha porusham evacha, agyanascha abhijatasya, partha sampana asurin. So Krishna is explaining Dambo. Dambo means pride. Darpa, arrogance. And abhimanas, conceit. And krodh, anger. And krodh, parshyam, harshness. And then agyanas, ignorance. Cha abhijatasya, born out of. And then partha sampana asurim. That these are all demonic qualities. And we can see all these demonic qualities rightly fitting in Hiranyaksh's character. That he's angry with the Lord, then he's proud of his strength. We see how powerful he is. He's already challenged Varuna Dev, but Varuna Dev very tactfully says, that I am old, I cannot fight with you. You must go and fight with Krishna only, who is now Varadev. And we also saw that how he grew up immediately so tall after taking birth. And harshness, he's using harsh words. He's been insulting Varadev. We are seeing all these. But Prabhupada says that these are all demonic qualities, and this will take us. This is royal road to hell. So, and these are all out of ignorance, born out of ignorance, because he wants to be the Lord of this universe. So I was thinking what I should learn from this. So I'll just present my thoughts that we should be very careful, because sometimes we can also have these opulences. We can be super intelligent, or we can be beautiful, or powerful and fame, name, or we can come from a very rich family. So basically, we are trying, and then because of these opulences, we become arrogant and puffed up, and then so basically we try to lord over this material world. And in other words, you can say we try to be independent of the Lord. But if you see, when we read further, where the chapter where Kardamba Muni and Swambhu Manu is conversing with each other, you see Swambhu Manu, after he gets his daughter married to Kardamba Muni, he comes back and he's praising the Lord. That, my dear Lord, whatever I have, all these opulences, it's because of your mercy. And then Srila Prabhupada writes there clearly that we should all learn from Swambhu Manu, that whatever opulences we have, it's because of Krishna's grace. And that is the way we show our gratitude and we get free from the entanglement of birth and death and three modes. That is the only way. So how careful we should be. Then if you read Brahma Samhita, there's a verse in it, Yad bhava bhavita diyo manujestatheva samprapya rupa mahimashana yana bhusha sukter yameva nigama pratitestu vanti govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Brahmaji is explaining Yad bhava bhavita diyo manujestatheva samprapya rupa, people who have got rupa, mahima, glorification, Rupa Mahima, Yad Bhava Bhavita Manujestatheva Samprapya Rupa Mahima, Yana means conveyance, Asan, throne or post, or Bhusha, jewelry. And so all these people who have these opulences, what are they doing? Pratitestu vanti. They are always praying. Who? Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. And we see in Bhāgavatam, see when 4 Kumaras, they are going to Vaikuntha planets. They cross 6 gates, and the 7th one, when they were crossing, Jai Vijay stopped them. So before this narration, where 4 Kumaras are explaining the beauty of Vaikuntha, and they are saying that the inhabitants of Vaikuntha planets, they have airplanes, and these are not ordinary airplanes, these are mystical airplanes, beaded with jewels, and then they have their partners, of course, of opposite gender, and then Srila Prabhupada gives a little bit description how beautiful these people are. And so we see that these people have their airplanes, that means conveyance, and then people are very beautiful there, and they have jewelry there. And Srila Prabhupada writes clearly again there that in the purport that this is all provided by Krishna. This is all awarded by Krishna. Krishna is the giver. And then and throne we can see, let's say Brahmaji. Brahmaji is the secondary creator, but he's always praying to Krishna that please always let me remember that you have given me everything. You have created me. What is Chatur Shloki in Srimad Bhāgavatam? There are 3 questions and the 4th one is request. What are the questions? He's asking, can you please explain your spiritual form and material form? Then he's saying, can you please explain your energies, internal energy, external energy? Then 3rd one is, can you please explain the activities related to these energies? And the 4th one is very interesting. He says that, please let me always remember that all these opulences I have is given by you. Maybe the words are a little different, but the conclusion is this, if you read, Srila Prabhupada explains. So we see all these learned people, they are glorifying Krishna, understanding that Krishna is the giver. And then glorification, people who are being glorified are actually glorifying Krishna. We see Arjuna. So this pastime I really like when in canto, first, we see that when Krishna has left this planet Earth, then he's very morose, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, why are you sad? And then he explains, and then he also glorifies by saying that he's praising Krishna by saying that the whole battle we have won because of you. And then he goes to say that we were together, means Arjuna and Krishna were together on a chariot, and so many mystical arrows were shot on them, but nothing happened to them and to the chariot. But then Krishna told later on, that okay, now you got off, you get out of this chariot. So Arjuna gets down, and then Krishna also gets off the chariot, and suddenly the chariot is burnt into ashes. So then Arjuna is remembering that this chariot was in its position because of your strength. Then he's remembering that how Arjuna fought with Lord Shiva, and the strength was given by Krishna. And then how he could pierce the eye of the moving fish just by seeing in the reflection in water, the reflection. So that was also given by, power was given by Krishna. And then at the end he says, now I am the same Arjun. And now I am the same Arjun with the same bow and arrows. But see, I cannot protect these ladies from simple cowherd boys. So this clearly goes to explain that he is also realizing that the strength was given by Krishna. So we should be very careful, because it's very easy in this material world that we may start thinking that, I have these opulences and I have these talents, and we may forget Krishna. So one has to be careful. Sometimes people say, I'm a self-made man. You've heard this? People say, I'm a self-made man. But how are they self-made? And the body they have is also made up of ingredients provided by Krishna. It is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And we see that how Krishna expands into Mahavishnu, and then Mahavishnu glances at Pradhan, and then Mahatattva, and all these ingredients are provided. Although Krishna doesn't want us to be here in this material world, but okay, it's our free will. If we want to be here, okay, then he says, okay, that's his mercy that he provides all these ingredients. How ego combines with the mode of goodness, then mind comes, and then there are 10 deities who are controlling all the organs. Just imagine, so how we are, this is very funny, that how we say we are self-made. All the organs are controlled by demigods, and demigods are controlled by Krishna. I was reading, hands are controlled by Indra, legs are controlled by Vishnu, eyes are controlled by sun god, speech is controlled by Agni, taste is controlled by Varuna Dev, genitals are controlled by Prajapatis, and this was very interesting, evacuation system is also controlled by Mitra. So just imagine we are depending on Krishna indirectly, directly, for evacuation. So we should. So what I was thinking that we can also challenge Krishna, not like this, like how he's saying that, are you not ashamed of running away? But there's another way. Some people can challenge Krishna by saying that by challenging his existence, that you do not exist in a broader way. Like how Natvar was explaining on Monday when he was speaking, that some people say this world is made up of some explosion. This is what you were explaining, right, Prabhu? Which means Big Bang theory. They say that there was an explosion and then everything was created. But if this was true, then I was just thinking that when there was an explosion with these twin towers, why there was not another set of twin towers? Why there was destruction? Yeah. If this was really true, just by explosion there is construction, then why do we need engineers and all these cranes and all? We just explode, boom, and then there will be construction. Or he was explaining, that we come from apes, we come from monkey. If this is also interesting. If this was true, then now we are so many people here. Then there shouldn't be any monkeys anymore. Because monkeys have transformed into human beings. But still we have monkeys also and human beings also. So this is also challenging in another way. So we should be careful about these things. The another thing I was thinking of, that he's using harsh words. So we should be careful that we should not use harsh words. In Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, Krishna again explains that austerity by mind, austerity by body, and austerity by speech. Why has he included this? If this wasn't important, because speech is very important, and Prabhupada writes that one should be gentle and polite. And a few days ago or weeks ago, our Arjunanda Prabhu was also explaining that one can be straightforward, but one has to be polite. In India, there's a joke. They say tongue is the only organ which doesn't have bones. If you think about it, tongue, it's got like this flexible. It has no bones, so it goes like this. But if you misuse it, this is very funny. If you misuse it, then it can break your bones. You know what I mean? That if you misuse it, then people can harm you. So I was thinking how careful we should be. Plus another reason why we should be careful is that when we speak harsh, we are actually harming ourselves only. See, I'll tell you why. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Yagnarto karmano anyatra loko mam karma bandhana, that everything should be done for Krishna's pleasure. And so that is called yagna. Yagna doesn't only mean homa, that we are doing om, swaha, something. Whatever we do for the pleasure of Krishna, that is called yagna. And now 16th chapter Krishna has already said that, 17th chapter, that please don't speak harsh. So then if we speak harsh, then we are entangling in karmas. That is one thing. Another thing is, when we speak like this, then we put more impressions. And these impressions will push us later. Like see how, and that is called conditioning. Sometimes we know that this is wrong. We should not be doing it. But still we are pushed. How? And that is our conditioning, and how these conditionings are being made, because impressions, we do something, then there's karma, and then impression, then there's karma, then impression, and very difficult to come out of this. So we should be careful. Another thing I was thinking, that here Varadev is not worried about insult and doing his duty. So how should we take insults when it is put on us? How should we face that? So I was hearing Tamal Krishna Maharaj's lecture few months ago, and he was saying, learned men, they tolerate these insults by understanding that we are not this body. Because insults, glorification, and infamy, pain, this is all attached with our body. So if we think that we are not this body, then we'll not go through these insults. But then I was thinking in my mind, this is too much. I'm not at this level. I was hearing from Swam Bhagavan Maharaj that he was saying, live without pretending. Hear without defending. And speak without offending. So I was thinking, okay, first one, live without pretending. I don't want to pretend that I'm at this level, where I can understand I'm not this body. So while I was thinking, he continued. Maharaj was continuing in his lecture that then we can think in this way that anyway, this is material world and these things will come on us. What can we do? Kale dosh nidhe rajan. There's not only one fault, or there's not like 5 faults. This material world, this Kali Yuga is full of faults. So we shouldn't be like astonished, oh, why this person is speaking to me like this? This is natural, Sometimes that other person understands that he shouldn't be doing like this, but we just do. So it's like, forest fire. Nobody wants forest fire. But wind blows and then there's friction between bamboos and then there's forest fire. So if we understand this, then we can come out of these, then we can understand and take this insult. So I was thinking, yes, this is okay level. I can understand this. Plus Krishna is saying, Matra sparshastu konteya shitos no dukda agmo paino nityas tam tatekshasva bharata. That non-permanent appearance of distress and happiness. He says non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress is like summer season and winter season, and it all comes from sense perception. We should only tolerate it. So non-permanent means what? That these things will come, and this will stay, and then this will go. We don't have to take it so seriously. I mean, we have to take it seriously, not that if something wrong, we have to solve the issue, but not that, okay, we just go into a state where we are not able to do anything. So if we understand that, then this can be, this problem can be resolved. Plus, another thing he was saying, that sometimes Krishna does this for devotees' advancement. And then I was thinking, how is this applied? Then you see the case of Vidura. Vidura was badly insulted. And what was his fault? He was just trying to explain, that don't do this, otherwise you will be ruined. But he was insulting him. Who? Duryodhan was insulting him. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport there that we should take that external energy is doing through that person, but there is a higher cause or higher plan of Krishna. And what is that? For your advancement. And we see that how Vidura was then he went to see Uddhav. And later on we see that how he takes knowledge from Maitreya Rishi. So this is sometimes Krishna's plan. But now this doesn't justify us, that okay, you speak with other people also like this, and we say, oh Prabhu, this is Krishna's plan. We shouldn't be doing like this. But for us, we should think like that. So this was second point I was thinking. And the last point is that for a dutiful person, there is no fear. I was meditating on this, that what can I speak on this? So, see, Vedic scriptures have given us many instructions. And for everyone, if you are a Brahman, then you can do your Brahmanical duties, enlightening people. Then if you are a Kshatriya, then you have to protect. And then Kshatriyas will protect Brahmans, Brahman will protect Kshatriyas, so that everybody gets spiritual alignment. And then Vaishyas, they do their work, Shudras like that. And he explained yesterday, Arjunanand Prabhu, that okay, duty has to be done, emotions will come later, all these things. But I was thinking, if we have a spiritual master or a guide, then doing duty becomes easy. Otherwise, there are many difficulties in this world. There are many confusions, doubts. We don't know what to do. Like, see how Arjuna is saying, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava, that there is weakness in his heart. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava, prachami tvam dharma samuda cheda, that I don't know what my duty is now. Yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me. Please, certainly, tell me now, what is my duty? Yasyasteham shadi mam tvam prapanna. Then, okay, now I am your disciple, please instruct. Then it becomes very easy. See now, this hunter who was killing all the animals very cruel, in a very cruel, full way. And then when sages told him that, what are you doing? You know what is awaiting? So then he understood, what is my future? Yeah. So then Narad Muni told him, okay, now you chant the name, you chant Ram. But he was not able to chant Ram. Yeah, I'm going to say who is this person. I'm sure you people know. So he was not, this hunter was not able to chant Ram's name. Can you imagine how sinful he was? Anybody can chant Ram's name, but he was not able to chant Ram's name. Then the spiritual master understood that his duty is basically to kill. In Hindi, this means Mara. So he told him, okay, you chant Mara. So then he started chanting Mara, 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 and then it became Ram. So see, according to time, place, circumstance, a spiritual master can tell you that what is your duty. And of course we know then this hunter became Balmiki. So see, and also when Hirnaksha was born, all the demigods were bewildered because now there was darkness and so many things were happening. So they went to Brahmaji. And then Brahmaji told them the story that who are these people, Hirnaksha and Kashipu, Jaya, Vijay. And Srila Prabhupada writes again in that purport that if we go to our spiritual master for any problem, I mean, of course we don't go for small problems, but if we approach our spiritual authorities, then life becomes very peaceful and happy. So, and in this case also we see Krishna. Then if we go to our spiritual master, sorry, I forgot to tell, then Krishna will always help us, because Krishna speaks through spiritual master and he accepts service through spiritual master. So Krishna will guide us through spiritual master. Now what is our duty? Like in this case I was reading, Brahmaji told Swambhu Manu to populate the universe. Okay, but then Swambhu Manu is saying that, but how do I populate? Because the earth is submerged in Garbhodakshaya Vishnu ocean. So how do I do my service? Then we see, so Brahmaji was thinking, what should he do? Then from his nostril, Varadev came. So I'm just thinking, wow, if we are sincere and if we are faithfully, if we want to do our duty, then Krishna will help. See, Varadev appeared. Same thing with Brahmaji. When Brahmaji was thinking, when he produced 10 sons, and then he was thinking, still it's not how it should be. He was thinking, and then from his thought came Swambhu Manu and Satarupa. And so many other places we see that if we do our duty sincerely and faithfully, under the instructions, then it becomes easy. Krishna will help us. We see the pastime of Ambrish Maharaj. Ambrish Maharaj was about to break the fast, and then Durvasa Muni comes and he says, okay, I'll go take bath and I'll come back. He was making late. He was getting late. He wanted to break the fast. Then what did he do? He approached his authorities. I said, what should I do? And he said, okay, you can have water, which is like breaking the fast also and not breaking the fast. And then Durvasa Muni became very angry, and then he produced with his hair a demon, and then Krishna came to help. See, Krishna came to help. And then the chakra ran behind Durvasa Muni also. So Krishna will always help us. We just have to do our service faithfully and sincerely. What is that verse? Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Niti Matir Mama. Shrir means opulence, Vijaya means victory. Shri Vijayo Bhuti, prosperity. Dhruva, unending. Dhruva Niti, righteousness will always be there. But what is the condition? Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, or we can think in this way, that's his authority, spiritual master. Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, a disciple like Arjun, which means how, again same thing, how we should be sincerely following the instructions of our spiritual master, and then everything will be okay. Because fearlessness means then faith in Krishna or faith in Guru. We are fearful only when there's distance between us and Krishna. And how do you remove that gap? By associating with devotees, taking their instructions. All right, these were my thoughts. If you have any comments or discussions. Yeah, you can take my spot.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I was thinking, Prabhu, you were mentioning this point of how, if we do our duty under the instruction of the spiritual master, then everything becomes, it's very easy. But sometimes we see the spiritual master may give some instructions that's very difficult to follow. Or, according to our conditioning, we may not, be inclined to follow these instructions. Or due to circumstance, we're not able to execute the instructions at the current time, like we hear, Prabhupada getting the instruction in 1922 to spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world, and we see Prabhupada himself saying, I had a family, I had this, I had that, I wasn't able to do it immediately. So how do we understand this? And he's had to do all these things that he didn't want to do.
Yeah. Honestly, I always have this problem with my spiritual master because he gives me very difficult instructions. So I've asked him many times. So he says, if it's very difficult, we should go and consult with our spiritual master again. It's allowed. You can always go and say that Guru Maharaj is very difficult for me. That is one thing. Another thing he told me that was very interesting. I liked it. That he was saying, you think that you cannot do it, but with instructions comes empowerment also. So you'll be empowered to do it. And where you saying that Srila Prabhupada got his instructions, but he started preaching later, that also we can consult, because we have to see I think, we should consult with our spiritual master. He will come with some answers, surely. But we can.
Satsvarup Maharaj aptly chose the title for the first volume of the Prabhupada Lilamrita, A Lifetime in Preparation.
Yeah.
So, very great example of the exchange between two great Mahabhagavat saintly personalities, one seemingly the spiritual master and one seemingly the disciple. Yes, guru and disciple, but they're on such a high level. The pure devotees act in this world to show an example of how others are to follow, or how they can follow. So such an instruction, and immediately given, Prabhupada is a 25-year-old young man, and just sounded preposterous, Why don't you spread Lord Chaitanya's movement all over the world? The first thing was on Prabhupada's mind was, we have to get independence, and that was defeated right away within a few minutes, and Srila Prabhupada really liked being defeated like that, and he immediately switched his allegiance to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And there's a chapter in the Lilamrita, I've met such a nice saintly person. Mm-hmm. And from that 1922 meeting, Prabhupada then, this is in Calcutta, then he was moved for business all the way to Allahabad, which is like 1,000 miles away. And then Gaudiya Math devotees, disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, came 6 years later in 1928. Yes, I will help you, you know. And he helped establish the Math. You see the video of the 1971 Kumbh Mela where Prabhupada took all of his World Sankirtan devotees in rickshaws to see the temple and the deities he had established. But anyway, we could say so many things, but if Prabhupada had tried to execute that instruction right then and there, say in the 1920s or after his initiation in 1930s, perhaps it wouldn't have worked out. But world events and climatic changes, you know, Bob Dylan, the times they are a changing. So Prabhupada, completely on the will, dependent on the will of Krishna and the mercy of his spiritual master, landed in New York City in 1965, 1966, where, you know, Prabhupada's would-be disciples were waiting and ready to get Prabhupada's message. And upon seeing Prabhupada, hearing him speak or hearing his kirtan, everyone just came running. So it's also destiny. So many things are mixed in. But like you said, and Prabhupada himself said, with the order of the spiritual master comes the necessary potency to carry it out. And one comment about what you were saying in the beginning of the class, this is something that I said, maybe many of you also said when we were kids. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Lovely.
Hare Krishna. With regard to the same question, actually, I think what motivates the disciple the most is love for the spiritual master. If one actually loves the spiritual master, then even if it is seemingly difficult, then still one is ready to take up the mission of the spiritual master. If there is not much love, then one can always think, it's too difficult for me. It's pushing me too much out of my comfort zone. So let me just go and check and reduce what spiritual master has expectations from me. So similarly, I was reading recently from Leelamrit. In that, I think it was Leelamrit or somewhere, it is mentioned that we can delay the instruction of spiritual master, but we cannot neglect it.
Very true.
So therefore, I think it's the same example where Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was coming in the dream of Prabhupada. But Prabhupada initially he says that it was horrific, very horrible dream. How can I give up everything? And later on when it came, then he was he took sannyas later on. So it's one can take up and not neglect the order of the spiritual master, provided he is cultivating love for the spiritual master. Or then it is possible. One more thing.
Maybe 1 minute.
Yeah.
He wanted to add something.
So Prabhupada executed the order of his spiritual master, and then circumstances came about that Prabhupada was called back to India in 1970. And you see, Prabhupada he had established the Los Angeles Temple, Western World Headquarters. My spiritual master gave me the West to preach, but my godbrothers, India is their preaching. And Prabhupada he's revealing he had a kind of discussion or loving argument with Krishna in Los Angeles, the Dwarkadish deity. Why are you sending me back? I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And said, well, I have this nice temple here I want to develop. Well, if you go, I will give you a temple even better than this Los Angeles. And when Prabhupada came back, the reaction was like completely diametrically different. Like Prabhupada, there's the chapter in Lifetime in Preparation, New Delhi, crying alone in the wilderness. And he's coming back, and he's heralded as like one of the greatest saints and acharyas that India has ever seen. And then Prabhupada just, acha. Then he understood what Krishna wanted. And he said, my spiritual master wanted me to preach in the West. I have done that. Now I want to do what I want to do. I want to preach in India. Which now, so 50 years later, India is exploding. How many big giant temples are there just in New Delhi?
14? 18? In Delhi itself? Phew.
Yamuna Devi, she, in describing her memoir in the film footage of the New Delhi Pandal, which said that Prabhupada laid the seeds from this first New Delhi Pandal for what later became the glory of India, the first temple on the, east of Kailash. So, or just that Prabhupada is just so empowered, like Shamasundar writes, Prabhupada spent 5 days in Moscow and just see how many hundreds of thousands. He went there once, he didn't have to go back. And even Prabhupada, when it was reported to him, you're only going to get 5 days, government could, 5 days is enough. So there's such great reciprocation between the Lord and the devotee when they follow the order of the spiritual master. It's just as we say, it's the Uttam Gati and the perfection of all desire, the highest platform.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Lovely. Yeah, really love.
Another comment regarding this Vidura's, you were saying, what was the fault with Vidura, that he just gave good instruction. Actually, Prabhupada mentions in many of his purports that, what is that? Murko?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, if you give good instructions to a foolish person.
Yeah, he narrates a story that once there was a bird, there was a set of birds. So in winter, they all took shelter of their nest. And this poor foolish monkey was, drenching in rain and falling sick. So the head bird went to the monkey and said, you foolish monkey, why don't you build a nest for yourself in the summertime? Then you don't have to suffer like this. Then the monkey said, oh really, you think you can advise me? He went and tore up the nest of the birds. So there was no fault on the birds thing, but the birds' problem was they gave advice to a foolish person. So similarly, I think even Vidura unnecessarily, he was giving his advice to Duryodhan, who was like a fool. So sometimes what is important, before giving advice, one has to cultivate relationship with the person. Without relationship, even if you give good advice, it will only backfire. That's one thing.
Yeah, true. But a little bit, in this case, Prabhu, he had a relationship with his father. And also I've heard what you are saying is perfect, is very correct. I was also thinking, when I was thinking, should I mention this point or no? But then I heard somewhere else also that devotees are very compassionate also. And like you said, he had a relationship with his father. So that's why he said. But yeah, you are right that even materialistic people, they say, never preach a foolish person. Bruce Lee says that. So you are right.
I just had one silly question. Why did, if Vaikuntha had 7 gates, why Jai Vijay only posted the last gate? What was the use of the 6 other gates?
Yeah, I don't know. Because somewhere else I heard that in Bhāgavatam only, I think before that there are 3 gates, and the fourth one has something, and there are not only Jai Vijay, there are many other doorkeepers also. So yeah, I don't know why only 7 gates. Anybody knows why only 7 gates? See, if Krishna wants, he just wants 7 gates, like how you were saying yesterday. That Krishna likes blue color. He likes blue color. Were posted on the 7 gate. don't know. But I know there are many doorkeepers like Subhadra and other people also. One I just know the name now. I think it's in first canto or second canto. There are more names also. I don't know why they were posted standing only on, or guarding 7th gate, I don't know. You know the answer? Divyangi Mataji, you know, by any chance? So why? Okay. All right then. Any other question or discussion, comment? All right. Then we'll end here. Gantra Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.